Okay, so if you open up the support frame assembly drawing, what we're going to do is we're going to create a feature-driven component pattern first. It's like that. The component to pattern is this plank, so we can select that. And the driving feature of this is the L pattern 1 in the support leg. So either one of the support legs. I'll take the first one here, so that's the driving feature of that. And there's no instances skip, so we're okay. So click OK on that, and we get our multiple copies of our plank. Okay. So next, before you go any further, if you go to the configuration manager, and if I right click on the default option down there, and if I move down here, if you look at these two options here, suppress new features and suppress new components, just make sure you check those two boxes and then click OK. So that'll mean when we create copies of that, it'll have those suppressed. Okay, so moving back to my feature manager design tree, then if I right click on the plank part and configure that component and pop in here, and we're going to create a few new configurations. So we've got our default configuration, so just click in the box below it there and plank red. Okay, and you can see because we've actually right clicked on the plank, we get the option then to look at the configurations that are available for the plank. So the plank was brought in as a configuration. So if I click on that, you can see that there's a number of different configurations of the actual part plank. So in this case, we call it plank red, so we're going to select the plank red, click apply on that, click OK. Now we pop back here, and we've got two configurations, a red option and a default option. So I'll go back and set the default current. If I open up the plank just to show you, so I open up the part plank, you can see here in the plank that there are actually a number of different options available that were created sort of outside of the assembly in the part level itself. And this is something you're going to have to do in the actual test. I'll close that again. And I want to see if any changes to that. What you're going to have to do in the actual test is you're going to have to do exactly as we're kind of doing now. Right click on this configure component and create a number of components. So the configuration name will kind of be near enough the same as the configuration name, here will be pretty much the same as the configuration name here. You can see there's not much of a difference. Red, plank red. It's not too critical, but just to get the different versions in the assembly, you need to create these. So if I go along and create the rest of them, so we've got plank red, plank yellow, plank blue, and plank orange. And don't forget to just change the colors. So yellow, blue, and orange. And there's a brown option there, but I don't seem to have that one kind of used up. Anyway, so I play that and click OK. We've got our blue, orange, red, and yellow configurations. Okay, let me just check that out. So that's blue, orange, red, and yellow. So we've got all those configurations saved. Okay. So with the default one set again, again if I right click on the planks and configure component again, we're going to create a new configuration, and we're going to call this one single tray. Okay, and we're going to suppress the plank in this one. So by right clicking on the plank, again we're getting the options for the plank in here. So we have the little option here to suppress this actual part in the plank. So if I apply that and click OK, go back again here, make the single tray active, and you see my first plank is actually suppressed on that. Now, also, because it was created as a separate sort of derived pattern, we have to actually suppress the patterns as well. So if I right click on that while I'm in that, so while I'm in the single tray option, we suppress all of that. So if I go into the rest, just to kind of check everything's kind of okay, and you see everything's fine and dandy, and we've got our single tray one that we're about to create a new part for. So insert components, browse, and we should have a single table shelf or side table shelf here. And just check the part it is in the name of it. Yeah, side table shelf. So this is the one we're popping in. And we simply just made this as per as per normal. So if I come in here then and select the mate option and select that little lip that's going to actually sit on that top surface. So coincident there. And we'll do a concentric mate with that. So that's kind of concentric now. We could actually kind of use two concentric. I'm not sure why, because if you look at that, it's kind of, there's a bit of sort of clearance in that. So I'm going to use the width mate for that, just to kind of get it right. So if we go to the advanced mate and go back to our little width mate, so select those two faces, and in the tab selection select those two faces, just to get it central. And if I just check there again on that, you can see just to keep the whole thing sort of central. So isometric, and click OK. And that's that table in there. So let's just check now. You see what happened to the rest of them. So single tray is like that. Plank is like this, and red and orange and blue and the default. So you can see we've got our single tray on its own in isolation. So we've now got those, if you like, 5 plus the default configurations of this table. Okay.